All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of the GMS, and sincere Shalom to brothers out here pushing this truth and sincerity. And this is basically going to the words that Kamala spoke from herself, because this is basically a clip showing the hypocrisy of these people to show you why we out here doing what we're doing. Not just because of this, because of all the atrocities that are going on, but also mainly and primarily because of prophecy, the downfall of this place, and the assurance of the elect, the hopeful elect. So actually, I'm gonna just go ahead and play the clip. And we just get some scriptures on it.
In 2020, the American people put their trust in Democrats. And over these last 18 months, Democrats have delivered. Let me rephrase that. Over these last 18 months, Democrats have delivered big time.
New inflation number rising again, the worst in 4 decades. The consumer price index up 8.6% in May compared to a year ago. And fueling that surge, higher prices for food and energy. Gas now averaging $4.99 a gallon nationwide.
Democrats have delivered.
U.S. is seeing a record number of illegal border crossings. That's according to data that NBC News obtained from the Department of Homeland Security.
Last month, there were over 234,000 illegal border crossings, the highest monthly total ever recorded.
Have delivered big time.
So, and as you see in the clip, she said in 2020, it's 2022 now. Things as of before 2020 in general didn't seem that bad, even though it was getting worse. But when all this other stuff started kicking in, it started getting worse and worse. And even as he said, over the past 4 decades, it's been getting bad, because over time things kept getting higher. Inflation when it comes to buying things, gas prices, all sorts of things. Because even when my parents would tell me, especially my dad, like candy back then when he was a kid was like, I don't know, like 25 cents for like just maybe a chocolate bar. Chocolate bar today is $1.25. That's a massive jump from just a quarter. So we see the things that go on, and then here you got these liars that people always fall for, because they think these people are gonna make this place better again. So they fail to understand all the things that comes with these lies. So this is Proverbs 11:21. It says, though hand joined in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. And that's what you have here, is that you had a whole bunch of people subscribing to this. You had a whole bunch of people voting for these so-called presidents, that they don't understand that their votes don't matter. It goes by electoral votes. But to their minds, they don't care. They think their votes matter. With all these people votes, and when you look at the number of votes compared to just how many people it is, the math does not add up. And that's why I kind of noticed over the time, each time, as far as when you look read onto it, the votes of the people don't add up to what they show on the internet as far as how many people voted. And it still goes by the electoral votes. Because the funny part is they always mention it. Even when you look it up, they said based on the electoral votes, not the votes. They'll show the votes that how many people did. But the reason why I say it doesn't add up is because one side will have more votes, but the other side ended up becoming president. So it was the same way with Hillary and Obama. Hillary won the people's votes, but Obama became president still. Funny how that works. So, I'm going to keep going with a little bit of this clip.
The Taliban parading through the streets in U.S. armored vehicles and flying a Black Hawk helicopter.
They wasted no time in celebrating the capture of U.S. hardware left behind by the Afghan army and the U.S. military.
Big time.
The buck stops with me. I'm deeply saddened by the facts we now face.
Democrats have delivered.
The housing market has...
So let's go back.
Big time.
The buck stops with me.
And that's the Taliban's arsenal of equipment that was pretty much taken from the U.S. I'm sorry, not taken. Was left behind. Because that's pretty much the matter of it. And see, that's what they do. They arm people. They arm the outsides to fund the wars. And a lot of the money, these people don't even get to see. And one thing leads to another, and we already know what the... Sorry, give me a second. Sorry, I had a call. But we already know what the plans is for the society. They fund wars, they fund these other armies. They keep the economy oppressed to where they don't even know about the outside world. And as she mentioned, the Democrats delivered. I wonder why is that? We all know that this place is going to shit, but they are delivering. They are delivering to their agendas. And we understand it. But these people fail to understand it. They fail to understand why, when this virus hit, they had to close down a whole bunch of businesses that some of them has not returned to come back to. They fail to understand why inflation went up. They fail to understand why gas prices went up. And we all know the big lie that, hey, they said the gas went up because of the what's going on over there, even though it's not affecting us. But guess what? That's the whole point of this, the agenda to keep processing. They want this place to fall. They want people at a comfortable level to when shit does hit the fan, they don't know what to do. So when they start implementing the MOTB, then they can start going over to them, because now we got the solution again to cure everybody's problems. Whether you believe about what we say or not, a lot of people is going to flock to them. Whether they believe what they say about what they have or not, they still going to flock to them. Because guess what? Everybody in the society claims they don't trust the government. But guess what? They still follow the government's laws. They still follow the government's money. And they still follow the government's ideology, philosophy, science, and all the other stuff. Oh, your school curriculum is still made by the government. So a lot of people makes these videos showing the hypocrisy of this place, but a lot of them will still follow under the guidelines of this place. But we just do a video based off their videos to show you why this place is more messed up, because they'll just show you the clip and that's it. But we can go deeper than just the clip. We'll go out and actually explain why all these things are happening. So this is Ecclesiastes 12:3. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. So this goes more than just as far as people just losing their jobs. When it says they look out the windows and be darkened, that means they seeing how what their once lovely empire was. I'm talking about just even for the regular people, including our people that loves this place. They seeing from what this place once was to what it is now. 10 years ago, even for me, but let's even go 15 years ago. Even for me, it didn't seem all that bad. It seemed nice. We know shit was getting bad. Was starting to get bad then, but it was still fine. You jump up 5 years later, Okay, you're starting to see more of it, but it isn't as bad. Jump up another 5 years. Okay, now we're seeing it's getting bad. Jump up to now, it's gotten worse. So over periods of time, and these rats implement these things slowly, that what was once what it was once then is not the same as it's going to be today. Over time, things get worse, and that is when we always talk about when the society is on it pretty much its last leg. Because all it takes is for that debt clock to stop, and then this place is done, economic wise. So this is, and then mind you, this is what people vote for and all this other stuff, thinking that it's gonna make things better. Because the next person they're gonna, whoever the hell the next president is gonna be, for the candidates wise, people just gonna vote for either side, thinking they're gonna win something, thinking it's gonna be better. Or the famous line people like to hit us with is better is choose one of the lesser evils. Which, if one side is evil and the other side is more evil, what is the difference between their evils? Because if they're evil on both sides, where's the good out of it? That's the contradiction of people's minds. Is you choose the lesser evil, we prevent the bigger evil. But they still want to do something evil. Whereas you could have said, instead of choosing the big evil or the evil, let's choose the good. But the fact that these people acknowledge that both sides are evil and will still vote for either side goes to show you how mentally screwed our people is. Anytime you gotta say it's better to choose the lesser evil. So you acknowledging that this shit is fucked up. You acknowledging that this president is just going to be worse or fucked up, and people are fine with it. But this is Proverbs 1:26. It says, I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. It says, when your fear cometh as a desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you. Sorry, slow down. It says, then shall they call upon me, but I will not answer. They shall seek me early, but they shall not find me. And that's exactly why the Lord has a real good sense of humor. Because guess what? He's laughing at all this shit that's going on now. He's laughing at how stupid these people really are. Because when shit does hit the fan, everybody, and the main thing that always happens is they say, "Oh God, please God," and you got a lot of people that don't even believe in God, but they get to that day when shit does hit the fan, they'll believe in God that moment. So it goes to show you how full of shit people really are, and it goes to show you why we also had to be holy, which means to be separate. We had to be separated for these people, because when you act like these people, when you had the mindset of these people, whether it's on the niggardly side or just trying to be some type of false prophet, you start becoming like them. You start trying to think of your own ways. You try to think of your own salvation, when we can't even do that. Because if as much people like to think of their own salvation, you would have thought they've been saved themselves. But the more you try to do it, the more deep in the gutter you go. So this is Romans 12:2. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove whether it's that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh. And that is the big difference between us and the average person. The big difference. We gotta conduct ourselves better than these people in a truth like manner. That is why we, as people like to call us, are brainwashed. We wash the corruption from our mind. To wake up and actually see more than just what this clip is showing, but what these rats are doing, what the world is actually going through. Like, the earth itself is suffering, and people don't even take that into consideration. They only care about their jobs, their homes, their livelihoods, and their materialistic things. That's it. But we pray to the Lord for the spiritual gift and hope, and for the hope of being of the hopeful elect. But that's why this place is going to be destroyed. So with that, little one, this was a little edifying, and with that, shalom.